Go full monk mode. Work in silence. Don't tell people what you're doing. Don't tell people your goals or your plans. That's really bad advice. The reason why it's bad advice, sure, it is true, and you've probably seen videos from people like Dan Koe, where they talk about how talking about your ideas releases dopamine. The dopamine is enough to make you feel like you did something, so you won't actually follow through with your plans. You have to be able to have discipline and understand the difference between telling people what you're doing and marketing, because it's the same thing. Marketing is telling people what you're doing. There's also some of those people that are more paranoid, and they think that you have to be secretive with what you're doing, because if you tell people what you're doing, they're going to be people that are jealous and plotting against you. And the truth is that, yeah, there are always going to be people that are jealous, and there are always going to be people that hope that you don't succeed or whatever. But there's no amount of work you could do in silence before you eventually have to come out and let the world know, and then they're going to come out and hate anyways. Which there was actually this story of a girl who opened up a hair salon. It was something that she's always been passionate about. She just loved doing hair her entire life, and she loved doing beauty stuff. She opened up a hair salon. It was really successful, and she had a friend who had a friend that came to work for her, and this friend didn't really care so much about the shop. She really didn't like working, and she was pretty lazy. And what happened was, really, this girl was just jealous of the girl who owned the hair salon. And what ended up happening was that when the girl who owned the hair salon had a period of bad luck, was having a bad time in life. I think she had a couple health problems, so she couldn't show up to work as often. What ended up happening was the girl's friend, the one who was jealous of the owner, she ended up taking some of the clients, and she opened up her own hair salon. And yeah, the story goes that this girl now has her own hair salon and stole a lot of the clients from the original girl, and that it was a really sad story. I think it did put the original girl's hair salon out of business. So stuff like that happens. And the thing is that you can't avoid it. You can't avoid that in business, especially. You're always going to have competition. Maybe your competition has some good morals and values, and they're not going to do weird stuff like hire somebody to go to your ads and click your ads or try to ruin stuff for you. But the truth is that there's a high probability that it does happen. You just have to be able to deal with it and roll with the punches. Now, the paranoid side, where it's like your friends and your family and people, they're not going to support you. They're all trying to pull you down. That's paranoia. And if that is true, you got to just leave them. You have to find some way to leave them. Because the idea of going monk mode and working in silence, keeping your head down and just grinding, that is a horrible idea. I fell victim to that, and I don't want you to fall victim to that. Right now is the best time to tell people what you're doing, especially on social media. There's so much proof out here on the internet, on YouTube, on Twitter, all over the place. There's so much proof that telling people what you're doing, letting the world know, is highly beneficial. It helps you build an audience. You get a lot of people who are supporting you at the beginning, and those are quite literally the people that are going to be buying your product, your service, or whatever you have, whatever you're using to make money. They're going to support that. Eventually, whatever you're working on, you have to let people know. And if you can't let the world know what you're working on, it's probably something not worth working on to begin with. There's two people that I want to save in this video. I want to save those people that are highly paranoid, that you have to do everything secretive, because if you don't do everything secretively, then it's not going to work out. That's paranoia. Don't be paranoid. And then those people who think that they're going to get a dopamine rush and they don't want to hurt their chances of being successful because they don't want a dopamine overload. You know the difference. If you're going to tell people about what you're doing, tell them what you're doing as you're doing it. So don't just tell them before you do it. Like, you could literally start an e-commerce brand today and say, hey guys, reach out to people and tell them about it. Hey guys, I'm thinking about starting an e-com brand around men's hair products or something like that. So the whole point is that you need to tell people. You need to tell people what you're doing. Talk about it, yes, but don't get trapped in the paranoia or the dopamine rush thing.